The iPhone edition is just 2 weeks away. Apple's going to announce their brand new lineup of phones September 12th. Mark your calendars. So that's when Apple's going to refresh their flagship in just 2 weeks. And we practically know everything about their upcoming phones. But you know who else just released a new flagship phone? Samsung. Samsung released the Galaxy Note 8. So I was like, let me make a video comparing Samsung's flagship to Apple's flagship. Here we go. Let's first take a look at the price. The Galaxy Note 8 starts at $930. That's already expensive. $930? That's $100 more than the S8. So that price is already high. And then you look at the iPhone Edition's price, and that's priced at $999. So the iPhone edition is $70 more than the Note 8, which makes sense. Apple's always going to be a tad bit pricier than its competition, but then yet again, you're also paying for the software. Apple has to pay for iOS. Samsung doesn't have to pay for Android. That's a big difference. Second, let's take a look at the display. And the display is arguably the biggest feature on both phones. The Note 8 has a gorgeous 6.3 edge-to-edge display, curved edges, AMOLED display, very nice. But there is a bezel on the top and bottom. So if you're going for the full bezel-less phone, you're gonna have to look elsewhere. And that elsewhere could be the iPhone edition. The iPhone edition is gonna have a 5.8 display, so you can compare that 6.3 to 5.8, not too far off. The iPhone edition's display is gonna be truly edge to edge. So from the bottom left to the top right, it's fully edge to edge. The only bezel the iPhone edition has is gonna be the sensor bar on the top to fit Face ID, to fit the front-facing camera, to fit the speaker, to fit the array of sensors and cameras that the iPhone edition is going to have on the front and back. So if you're looking for a bezel-less display, both of these phones truly have it. If you're looking for a bigger display, the Note 8 has that. I'm going to give the slight edge to the Note 8 since it has a slightly bigger screen. It just makes sense. Now here's where it gets interesting. The camera. Both the Note 8 and the iPhone edition have dual cameras. They also both have the same exact dual camera system. One camera is a standard view and the second is a zoomed in view. So you could zoom in without a loss of quality and also get that beautiful portrait mode. Both cameras have this. Both cameras are 12 megapixels. They are also both at 1.7 aperture to allow for great low light photography. And they also are both dual optical image stabilized. So both are going to stabilize your footage if you have a little bit of shaky hands. So you can take that perfect stabilized video and photo. Both phones have that, but here's the difference. That's going to make it sway to the iPhone edition side. That's 4K at 60 frames per second video on the back and the front. Not only on the back you get 4K at 60, you also get it on the front facing camera. No other phone in the world has this. The iPhone edition is the only phone that could record 4K at 60 frames per second video. And the iPhone edition is also the only phone in the world that can take slow motion at 1080p at 240 frames per second. This is a huge, and I say huge upgrade for the iPhone edition's camera. Have both cameras optically image stabilized. Have both cameras record 4K at 60 and slow-mo at 1080p at 240 frames per second. The iPhone edition easily has a better camera than the Note 8. If you're comparing it to the iPhone 7 Plus, that's a different story for maybe another day. Now to performance. If you're looking for performance, you definitely want the iPhone edition. The iPhone edition is gonna have Apple's A11 Fusion chip with 3 gigabytes of RAM, and that's gonna make the iPhone edition the fastest phone in the world with no competition at all. The Note 8 has a Snapdragon 835 processor with 6 gigs of RAM if you're into that, but it's not a competition. The iPhone edition is going to be way faster than the Note 8, which means you could use the iPhone edition longer if you care about longevity. So I already talked about this price, the screen, the camera, and the performance. That's pretty much the main building blocks of a phone. But here are some other features that both phones have. Both phones are IP68 water resistant. So you could fully submerge both phones in water, take nice video and photos underwater. Who doesn't love that? Also, both phones have wireless charging with the Q1 wireless charging standard. Both phones have fast charging, and both phones have OLED displays. Now here's the little differences in between the two phones. First of all, the iPhone edition's smaller. It's not a phablet like the Note 8. It's the same exact form factor as the iPhone 7, just with a 5-point-inch display. So you use that whole front of the phone for the display in that small form factor. The Note 8's pretty big. Also, the iPhone edition has stereo speakers. So the iPhone edition speakers get way louder than the Note 8. And I mean, it's close to double as loud. Also, the iPhone edition doesn't have a headphone jack, which is great. Allows for a bigger battery and water resistance. No headphone jack is great. Go watch my video on why wireless is the future right here. And lastly, the iPhone edition has a lightning connector, which isn't a big difference from USB-C. They're both the same size and they're both reversible. Nothing major here. Samsung, the only benefit you get is that USB-C port. Nothing else. You don't have stereo speakers. You don't have a small form factor. You don't have extra space for a bigger battery. You got nothing. The iPhone edition, in my opinion, is a clear winner unless you're in love with Android, which I'm not. I'm personally in the iOS ecosystem, so I would choose the iPhone edition because it's better and because it has iOS. So if you're looking for the better phone, the iPhone edition is the better phone for $70 more. Is it worth the extra $70? I would say so. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the Note 8 and the iPhone edition in the comment section below, and I'll see you in the next one.